At just over $46,000, the 2017 Nissan 370Z Nismo Tech we recently tested represents an incredible value for the money in sports cars. You just have to get over how boringly excellent it is. I wrote that last year when reviewing the 2017 Nissan 370Z Nismo Tech, and after sampling a $48,510 as tested 2018 version of the car, I can say that my mind hasn't changed one bit. As I noted last October, Z cars have been around for decades. The very first 240Z, badged as a Datsun, hit the streets in the US in 1969. The whole Z car idea, affordable, dependable performance and a two-seater, seemed to have run its course with the 300ZX. Production was halted briefly in the late 1990s before Nissan revived it with the 350Z. The 370Z Nismo Tech, the hottest version of the ride, is the latest and greatest. It might also be the end game, as there are rumors that Nissan could be sending the Zs to their final reward. That's a shame, but even though the 2018 Z is a slight update on the 2017, it is true that this platform is fairly aged in automotive terms. That was the case last year when we checked out the 6-speed manual, and it remained so this fall when we slipped behind the wheel of the 7-speed automatic. The 370Z has basically been around for a decade, and it shows. Sometimes in a bad way, with its unreconstructed mid-2000s glowing orangeness of instruments. But sometimes in a good way, such as when you lean into the marvelous 3.7-liter, 350 horsepower V6 and feel that sweet, naturally aspirated, all-motor power flowing to the back wheels. I tooled around New York and New Jersey for a few days in a pearl white 370Z and, no surprise, I had a fine time. The car's dinky, 7-inch touchscreen didn't scream tech. And the two-seater had no advanced driver assist features whatsoever. But for some fans of throwback piloting, that's all going to be perfectly cool. The base 370Z is only about 30 grand, but mine was thoroughly Nismo'd up. It had a Nismo-tuned engine, a Nismo engine cover, Nismo-tuned exhaust, Nismo-tuned suspension, Nismo alloy wheels, a Nismo shifter knob, Nismo upholstery stitching, a Nismo tachometer, and Nismo aerodynamics. Subaru's Ascent 3-row crossover SUV is almost here. The Tribeca replacement has been confirmed for this month's 2017 Los Angeles Auto Show and will be on sale next year, as a 2019 model. All we have is a teaser shot showing part of the tailgate. However, spy shots of prototypes plus a thinly veiled concept unveiled during April's 2017 New York International Auto Show and at what's to come. Subaru appears to be taking a fairly safe route when it comes to the Ascent styling, but the vehicle should stand out due to its sheer size. It will measure 198 inches in length, or about 9 more than the Outback. This should result in plenty of space for passengers in all 3 rows. The arrival of the Ascent will also mark the introduction of a new engine at Subaru. It will be a 2.4-liter turbocharged engine with the automaker's signature horizontally opposed layout. The engine will also feature direct injection, and naturally it will power all 4 wheels. Production will take place at Subaru's plant in Lafayette, Indiana. The plant is where the automaker produces its legacy, Outback and latest Impreza. The Ascent is about to enter a crowded segment with plenty of good options. The list includes the likes of the Chevrolet Traverse, Ford Explorer, Honda Pilot, Mazda CX-9, Toyota Highlander and Volkswagen Atlas. Stay tuned for the reveal on November 28 at the LA Auto Show. For further coverage on the show, head to our dedicated hub.
It feels like Subaru revealed the Ascent concept just yesterday, but the production version is already preparing for its debut at the 2017 LA Auto Show later this month. Subaru posted a teaser image to Twitter announcing the three-row crossover's November 28 debut and showing off part of the vehicle's taillight and bumper. The Subaru Ascent concept was first shown at the New York Auto Show in April. The concept was a further refinement of the VIZI V7 concept that debuted at last year's LA show, coming in at a more realistic 198.8 inches in length. The concept took design cues from the rest of the Subaru lineup but blended them into a vehicle that looks way more rugged than the previous Tribeca 3-row ever did. Subaru says the Ascent will be powered by a new turbocharged, direct-injected 2.4-liter flat-4, but other technical details are slim at the moment. Production of the Ascent will begin in 2018 at Subaru's plant in Lafayette, Indiana, and Subaru plans to sell the crossover exclusively in North America. The Ascent will go on sale sometime in 2018 as a 2019 model year. Stay tuned for more details as we approach the 2019 Subaru Ascent's debut at the LA Auto Show.
Subaru fans, set your alarms for November 28th. The automaker will introduce its first all-new US nameplate in more than 5 years with the Ascent, which Subaru says will be its biggest SUV yet. The three-row SUV, based on the Ascent concept introduced in April, will debut at the 2017 Los Angeles Auto Show on the final Tuesday of November. That's mere hours after Cyber Monday, because of course you need another reason to avoid work. The 2019 Subaru Ascent enters a class of three-row SUVs that's crowded, to say the least. Every major automaker has at least one entrant. The list includes the Chevrolet Traverse, Dodge Durango, Ford Explorer, Honda Pilot, Hyundai Santa Fe, Mazda CX-9, Nissan Pathfinder and Toyota Highlander, not to mention the new Volkswagen Atlas. Subaru wants a piece of the pie, given its last attempt, the ill-fated Tribeca, was a little half-baked. A glimpse of the Ascent's tail on Subaru's countdown page doesn't reveal much, except that the SUV appears to get horizontal taillights. That's consistent with the Ascent concept, which looked production-ready save for some pie-in-the-sky electronics on the inside. What did Subaru tweak on the production version? You'll find out in less than 2 weeks. We'll have up-close impressions shortly after the reveal.
Subaru has been without a three-row crossover since it killed off the rather ugly Tribeca. But that's about to change, and best of all, it's finally going to be attractive. Subaru announced on Twitter that it will unveil the production version of the 2019 Ascent three-row SUV on November 28th, as part of the Los Angeles Auto Show. If you don't happen to be at the show with an accredited media badge, Subaru will live stream the event. Everything we know about the Ascent comes from a concept of the same name, which Subaru showed off earlier this year at the New York Auto Show. It has seating for 7 and many of the design staples featured on the Forester and Outback. It will ride on a modified version of Subaru's global vehicle platform, and under the hood will be a 2.4-liter turbocharged flat-4 engine. The Ascent concept was derived from the beefy VIZIV 7 concept that first heralded the arrival of a three-row Subaru Ute. The VIZIV 7 debuted at last year's LA show, boasting sharp edges, crazy lighting and a healthy dose of blue trim. Surprisingly, it didn't change much between this concept and the Ascent. So hopefully the changes between concept and production won't be too drastic either. It's a tricky segment. Larger than a subcompact SUV and smaller than a compact but priced nearly on top of those same compacts. That's the niche Nissan is seeking to fill with the city-friendly Rogue Sport. Gordon Dickey described it as a perfectly decent car for empty nesters who want to get away for the weekend. The Rogue Sport suffers from being underpowered, with a mere 141 horsepower underhood. Christian Seabaugh described the Rogue Sport's acceleration as like a boat it confidently and capably saunters forward, gathering speed. But it's hardly quick, and the CVT moans like an old man getting up from his favorite reclining chair. The ride, with a planted chassis unperturbed by road crud or washboard, is excellent for an SUV of this size. Unfortunately, once off-road in our silty approximation of a snowdrift, the Rogue Sport ground to a halt on several occasions with several drivers. Not a good sign. It also is plagued with non-steering feedback and suffers dynamically from grinding understeer, Frank Marcus said. Although Nissan cribbed interior bits from the upmarket Rogue, it still has too much plastic strewn about. It also lacks Apple CarPlay, and the infotainment screen is too small and carries an outdated interface. The back seat is an uncomfortable little cushion with insufficient thigh support and compromised knee and footroom, although it offers 2 air conditioning vents and 2 USB ports. Cargo space is wide and deep but not tall. The hatchback required an extra effort to close tough when your arms are full of stuff. A fair effort but not a finalist.